There's something inside of here that I'm very excited to check out. It's the new 15-inch M3 MacBook Air. Here it is. I love the fact that the packaging team has chosen this photo for the MacBook Air, because it truly looks and feels like an Air product. So we got the 15-inch, 16 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte storage. Let's go ahead and actually, there you go. Something that I'm very sad about with the launch of the M3 MacBook Air is that the M1 MacBook Air, the legendary MacBook that changed Apple's silicon and that changed the Mac forever, is now discontinued, which I'm very sad about. There's the MacBook. We get color matching. We get a color matching midnight MagSafe designed by Apple in California. Ooh, Apple stickers in midnight. That's beautiful. And we get the power brick. Something interesting about this power brick is that it actually has 2 USB-C ports. This is actually the power brick that I bring on all of my trips because I connect my iPhone, my Apple Watch, or whatever. It's just super handy to have 2 ports on a power brick. Now let's go ahead and check out the MacBook Air itself. Now before you ask, Nikias, this is a small upgrade. Now look, it's a small upgrade compared to an M2 MacBook Air, but it's officially real. If you're coming from an M1 MacBook Air, it's such a good upgrade. This thing is so beautiful. I absolutely love the MacBook at midnight. It's such a stunning laptop. Fun fact, something that Apple hasn't talked a lot about this new MacBook is that it actually features a new anodization process, the same one that we saw in the MacBook Pros. Now with the midnight color, it doesn't get as many fingerprints as the M2 MacBook Air. Something that I hated about that color, as beautiful as it looked, was the fingerprints. Now it's anti-fingerprint, which I love. I mean, if you love this color, you can finally get it. I feel like the M2 MacBook Air was just fingerprint heaven. So I'm happy that it's finally gone. Bye-bye, fingerprints. You ready? This absolutely never, ever gets old. Now, obviously, the MacBook Air is now equipped with the M3 chipset, which has an 8-core CPU and up to 10-core GPU with a 16-core neural engine. It comes in 2 sizes, 13-inch and 15 inches, which, by the way, if you actually want to get the 15-inch M2 MacBook Air, that's not available. Now, the 15-inch is exclusive to the M3, this one, the M3 MacBook Air. Now, fun fact, the MacBook Air is actually the world's most popular laptop. Not Apple's most popular laptop, but the world's most popular laptop. And I find it fascinating that a MacBook Air now has a chipset of an M3. I mean, the amount of power that now an Air has is years ahead of what we had just a couple of years ago. I mean, if you were to tell me literally like 7 years ago or 5 years ago that we would have an M3 chip and what that exactly means on a MacBook Air on a fanless design, I wouldn't have believed you at all. There's now more ways to get things done with the MacBook Air because it now has support for 2 external display. But here's the thing, the actual lid of the MacBook has to be closed. It doesn't work while it's actually on. I get asked so many times, what MacBook should I buy? And I always end up saying the MacBook Air for like 90% of the population. Because apart from being a thin, a lightweight, and a very portable MacBook, it's perfectly equipped with such a good Magic Keyboard. It has Touch ID, a massive and very comfortable trackpad, a beautiful liquid Retina display that comes even in an option at 15 inches, an actual very decent 1080p camera that doesn't actually suck. But what's always most surprising for a MacBook Air user is the actual battery life. It's got 15 hours of battery life for web browsing. I actually have a friend that's a writer for this press site, and he was shocked at the M2 MacBook Air at the battery life that it has because he went on this trip for the entire weekend. And I met him on Sunday and it was like, what, 6 p.m.? And he was like at 74% of battery life, and he was using it a lot over the weekend. So not needing to worry about charging your laptop when on the go. If you edit video or edit photography, I'd say the MacBook Pro is the laptop to get, even though the MacBook Air is perfectly capable of. I'd recommend the Air instead of the Pro for so many more people because of the design, the lightweight of it, and the battery life just is so good for those people who write a lot, who replies to a lot of emails, who are on the go always, the Air is just the laptop to get. Every time I use a 15-inch MacBook Air, now that I actually have it set up, it makes me really want to use a 15-inch instead of a 13-inch. I think a 13-inch is more portable, but a 15-inch MacBook Air is just... The display is so massive that for multitasking, it makes it just so good. So that's the unboxing of the M3 MacBook Air. You can subscribe if you're new. You can listen to my podcast all surrounding the Apple ecosystem, or if you want to watch a day in the life with the MacBook Air, you can tap this right here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.